I thank you all for allowing me the opportunity to talk about my son, because it's very important and it's very heart a great heartache. Amen. Because there's so much that's going on. Our black people, our young people, they're not getting it. We know that Black Lives Matter, but somehow our young people are missing the message. Um, and we need to put as much energy behind uh, Black Lives Matter when we get energized when they're killed by another group. We need to put as much energy when our young people are taking each other's lives. My son was only 21 years old. Like you said, he was a student at SAU. He was in his senior year, only had 9 credits to graduate. He was my only child, not just my child, my only child. And just to get a news, no mother, father, family member needs to pick up the phone and hear that your child has been shot on school campus, on campus ground, you first day of school. And we need to just give our young people an outlet. And they need to know that they can't just pick up guns. Because once that bullet leaves that chamber, there's no pulling it back. They're not only destroying other lives, they're destroying their own lives, their family ties, the community. And I right after I buried my son, I say the next day or the next 2 days, I did a gun violence rally, and every person on that stage, there was about 15 families on that stage that lost a loved one. And a shocking revelation came to us that every person on that stage died at the hand of another Black person. That's sad. That's real sad, because we can't keep taking our own lives. How other people are going to take us serious if we're taking our own lives? Young people, we got to get behind them. We got to give them an outlet. We got to know that. And people, well, the stigma is that you can't get health counseling. Counseling is there to help you. I had to get some counseling when I found out my baby was murdered at college. Anywhere it would have been. I just had to get me some counseling, and I'm a pastor. And we got to be able to reach out. And we got to let our young people know that it's okay to receive some help when you're going through things. If you let that stuff fester and you let it ball up within you, it's gonna spill out, and it's gonna spill out in a way that's gonna ruin your life, and not only your life but other lives. So yes, Joshua Keyshawn Smith, he was my heart. And no kid is perfect, but he had dreams, he had aspirations, he had hopes, and he wanted to be something. He was going to be an engineer. And at one point, I remember speaking to my son at school, and he said the classes are getting harder. And I made the suggestion, well, maybe you ought to change your major. He said, no, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to make you proud, Mom. I'm going to do this. I'm doing this for you. I want to be something. I want to change the world. I want to be able to help somebody else. He had little cousins, and he had a little god brother that looked up to him, and he's having a hard time that his god brother is gone, because his god brother told him, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you, bring you along. I'm going to help you show what you got to do to get in college. I'm going to show you what to do to stay on the straight and narrow. Like I said, no, Joshua's not perfect. No child is. But no child deserves to be gunned down at school or anywhere else. So my thing is to my community, the Arkadelphia, and to the Sparkman region, what are we going to do? It's time out for just talking. We got to put some foot soldiers behind this movement, not just Black Lives Matter, because I always say we got to get the bob going. Black on black crime has to stop. Black on black crime has to stop. We got to do something, because we're losing our children to the penitentiary. We're losing our children to death. It's bad enough that I was listening to the segment a few minutes ago about how, we don't even have weapons, but we're gunned down. When other people have committed mass shootings and they walk away, go somewhere and get some food. That's bad enough for our community. But it
So
still does not excuse our community for
no,
killing other.
not at all. And Miss Butler, I want to say thank you for being here with us tonight. And
Yes,
you know,
yes.
I'm born and raised in Arkadelphia and part of the Clark County community, and so
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm always wants to be a part of anything that you're doing there to bring attention to this crisis, because You're so right, and I'm gonna just be raw and say it with you since you're raw. That's what this story is about. It's about the Bible says our people perish for a lack of
For not
knowledge,
for now.
and our young black men are perishing because many of them the knowledge that they're getting is not what God intended for them to receive, and
That's
that's what
correct.
I said. That's the Satan infected network that's causing them to have that behavior, and so I know it's confusing. It's confusing to the world when we as a people say Black Lives Matter, but we kill each other. That's very confusing.
Right.
You know, because here's what we're saying. I'm saying to us, all death matters, and we want the voices of all to be heard. You know, in
Correct.
that process, because the numbers are just staggering. I mean, Professor E just mentioned to that in 2021 how many, and right now we're on record pace in Little Rock where we've already had 11 homicides, and to just to speak to your numbers, which I want to do because you know what you allow us to do is to support what you're feeling because and to get the counseling because for some reason we have to look at these hurting men as we talked about that murdered the baby girl whose mother was on the air last week. Was here 10 years old,
Yes.
and we see that. And when I was president of Arkansas Baptist College, Miss Olivier, I want to connect you with her son. I want to connect you with her. I mean, because Derek, I'm going to be seeing her this weekend. He was murdered on our campus, which is why I'm here today, because that was a change moment for me. So I can just imagine what you're dealing with, because he was all young black men at Arkansas Baptist College, all of them black or white. They were my sons, and so when I
Right.
realized he was gunned down, and I saw that on tape. I went back that night, and I was traumatized by that. I mean, I was, and so because I witnessed it, 2 hours later on our video, on our camera, and I couldn't believe how a young black man, this guy had to been traumatized to be able to come there and do that to a student who he didn't even know.
Correct.
He had nothing to do, but he was trying to shoot at our kids on our campus, and he was disturbed, and that took a life of a person, an innocent life. And
Right.
nobody's perfect. That's why God said we all sin and fall short. But I want to let you know that we are here to help you. We are researching this topic for a reason, because it's that gun violence and the effects of it is nearly a $400 billion industry.
Yes.
And what we say, there are so many big issues around the world, and why we can't research gun violence. They said when that happens, they shut it down. But we're doing everything we can with our little budget to get these numbers out here. And God is blessing us in some special ways, as we're going to have our first annual report that's going to come out annually. And we're going to look at this crime like nobody else has looked at it, to analyze, to say, what were the factors that led to these young men murdering Josh? I mean, because as you said, when a bullet comes out, you can't change it. It's there. And so, can I ask you as a pastor right now, as we get ready to go into our final few minutes, to share with other mothers, being a pastor, what you are, how you're getting through this? And I know we're going to ask Bishop to pray for you before we close, but share those with those. I know Miss Olivier would love to, hear how you're coping, because she's been doing this since September 27, 2012. And every time I see her, it's still real, like it just happened yesterday. So we want to pull you all together, and in a way that we're our own support group, and we have to stop this, because here's what I know about our country: if we can go find Bin Laden all the way across the country and put dollars over there, we can stop violence if we want to. But
If we
our
want to.
community, we must take the lead. What do you got to say to the parents out there?
What I'm doing is, first of all, I'm trying to keep my faith. God is still real no matter what happens in my life. But I also got counseling, and I have a strong family support system. I just pray, but sometimes you will break down. Sometimes you have to take care of your own self, your own psyche. And when you want to cry, you cry. Don't let nobody tell you how to grieve and how long to grieve. Because when a mother loses a child, it's a different kind of hurt. When you have to bury your child, it's a different kind of hurt. So you grieve, you cry, you holler. Don't hold it in. And you speak to God. You talk to God. and you get counseling if you need to, and you talk to your family and let your family be your support. But what I've learned is you got to take care of yourself. You can't worry about everybody else's feelings when you're going through. If people are uncomfortable with you crying, let them be, but cry. If you want to just look at pictures of your child, look at pictures of your child, but allow his memory. And I'm going to do everything I can to allow my son's memory to go on, to carry on. And I did mention, I heard one of y'all mention that y'all hope that he gets his degree. The school did give me his honorary degree. I did receive that. They delivered to me personally, so I do have that. But I want his memory, and I don't want. I know it's not going to change overnight, but we got to do what we can to
Well, you know
stop
what?
it.
What's great about that? We gave Derek his, so we have two degrees that with Derek and Josh that we
Yes,
have been
yes,
awarded,
it's
and so
beautiful.
what we're gonna start making the call for higher education for all of our young men who are in school that have been gunned down
Amen.
to be able, to do that. Did you have something, Pastor Drew?
No, no, I'm good.
Okay, well, hey, we'll have you back, and we're going to be rallying together. God has something special for us, and
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
going to ask Bishop to close us up in prayer. And you are in our daily prayers,
Yes.
Thank,
and
thank you.
and man, please continue to tune in and talk to us via social media, whatever. You got some comments, and we're going to be connecting all the dots.
Thank you.